Ring doorbells. They may very well be the most popular Internet of Things devices to date. I can't tell you how many of these things I've seen in quiet suburban neighborhoods. Seems like everybody's got one. And it's understandable at first when looking at them why so many people would want them. It's got a built-in camera and microphone, which is great for home security. You can see if there's some kind of weirdo outside that might be trying to break in or just get you to go outside so that they can harm you. But the Ring doorbell can also be a tool of convenience, not just for security. Let's say someone is delivering something to your house. You can talk to them through the Ring doorbell and say, hey, don't put my package right in front of the walkway or in front of the door. Then it's difficult to open the front door, you silly goose. Put the packages to the side of the door so it's not obstructed. Like a normal delivery person. The Ring also has motion sensing, so it can just give you a quick notification if someone has been at your door. Again, probably more of a security measure there. But despite all of these convenient things that Ring does, it has a number of problems. The most well-known are probably the security issues, where hackers are able to take over these cameras and then spy on the owner. They can threaten them, they can harass you and say all kinds of crazy stuff to you through the speakers. That problem got a lot of press with the Ring doorbells, and as a result, Amazon fixed the security issues. Well, as far as we know. It's not like we can do a full security audit of the Ring's doorbells software ourselves, because Ring software is absolutely proprietary. It is not free software. You do not have the ability to view, modify, run, or redistribute the code as you wish. And it's not even entirely open source, so there's no way to know for sure all of the things, all of the capabilities that the Ring software has. So the end users of Ring doorbells, they don't control the software, which means that the software controls the users. And when we talk about software controlling the user, in this case, we're not talking about something like Skynet or HAL 9000. It's not some software that has become self-aware and gained its own sentience and now wants to take over the planet. No. This software is ultimately controlled by Amazon, so they are the ones that are ultimately controlling you. And if the problem of Amazon using proprietary software to control you isn't obvious, let me spoon feed it to you. Amazon owns all of the data that is produced by your Ring doorbell. Every piece of video, every piece of audio recording, every motion, and all data that can be collected from the Ring doorbell app, that all belongs to Amazon, and they are legally allowed to do with it as they wish. So if they decide to give the police access to this data as well, which they've already done 11 times so far this year, then they're free to do that. And let me tell you, the cops, they love these things. They love the Ring doorbell, they love the Nest, and any other home surveillance device that they can access the data to, because it makes Fourth Amendment circumvention that much easier. No need to go through the process of getting a warrant or to just take the risk of illegally searching you or your house the old-fashioned way, with brute force. Why do that when they can just take the data from your Ring doorbell that might incriminate you? Because chances are, if they forcefully enter your home without a warrant and then they find something illegal, then that evidence isn't going to be admissible in court. Your case is going to get dismissed. You'll still get arrested and put in jail for a little bit, and your door might get kicked in by the cops. But hey, at least you don't have a criminal record. But I gotta tell you, I don't have any faith in a boomer judge or a boomer jury that doesn't understand technology to find that search using a Ring doorbell or a Nest camera or anything like that, any illegal audio or video they might be able to obtain from that to find that inadmissible in court. I don't have faith in them pulling up the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine, which is the rule in criminal law that makes evidence gathered from an illegal search, arrest, or interrogation inadmissible. If you want evidence of just how clueless the judiciary can be when it comes to computer crimes, I suggest you look up Josh Palault and his story of how he spent 6 years in jail because of threats that he made on RuneScape. I think he was like threatening to shoot up some kids out of school or something, which I know. That kind of threat is edgier than a dodecahedron, but that's just what you do when you're playing RuneScape at 19 years old. And more importantly, it's not illegal to say those kinds of things when it is clearly hyperbole, when it is clear that there's no intention to actually do it, it's not a credible threat, and that he's just making a joke. In that case, it's just a free speech thing. But the judge that sentenced him and was hearing over the case and everything said during the trial that he didn't even understand what download means. I think it had something to do with like some school shooter game that one of his friends told him about, because the whole idea, like with what the DA was trying to pin on this guy, is that, oh, he's a danger to society, he's this next school shooter, when you can just watch the video. I'll probably link it in the description. It's nothing like that, right? They just try to turn it into something more extreme than what it is so that they can get a conviction. But the download thing had to do with that game, if I'm remembering correctly, and he never actually downloaded it. That's something that was alleged, but I guess that game was even too edgy for him. And the judge said he didn't even know what download means, right? You've got this guy hearing over this case, judging, not his whole life, but like this guy ended up spending basically his early 20s in prison. You've got a judge judging that case who doesn't even understand what download means, is definitely not qualified to see over that. This is the level of ignorance that we're dealing with in the judiciary when it comes to technology, and most of the government in general is just as ignorant. It seems like it's only the alphabet boys, FBI, CIA, and so on, that seem to really understand technology. And of course, they would just prefer that most other people be ignorant so that they can get their convictions. And you're not going to be able to rely on Ring to change this policy anytime soon, because their response to this data being handed over to police has just not been very cooperative. It's been pretty vague. They're not even giving a lot of details about the data that they're able to collect or how often they hand it over to police. There's only 11 cases so far this year that are known about. We don't know how many previous instances it's happened. They refuse to change the default settings of their app to allow end-to-end encryption and disable the audio recording by default. So these things, this app does not have what I would consider safe or sane defaults, which is unacceptable for an app and a device that's supposed to be used for home security. I wonder how many customers actually know this, how many people are actually modifying the settings of this for it to be private. Probably not a lot. And even if you do enable this end-to-end encryption, there's no reason to really trust it. Just look at the company that's implementing the encryption. I wouldn't trust it any more than Facebook's encryption. So if you decide to use a Ring doorbell, it's basically going to be like you having a cop sitting on your porch at all time. Except, of course, the Ring doorbell isn't actually going to defend you from bad people and probably not really deter any crime in the first place. It's just going to record crime, including any crimes that you commit. It's going to be snitching on you as well. So don't use Ring doorbells.